Hello everyone, my name is Nathan and today it's time for another episode of Starmade. So right off the bat you can see that I have finished or at least added to our ray in the front so that we have some more functionality, some more glowing and moving lights. That's basically the only thing that I've done in preparation for this episode, and I think today I want to do some kind of a tutorial. The reason for that being is that I get more and more comments about how to actually combine weapon systems, what happens, they don't understand the table that comes with the update notes, what is good to combine with each other, and today I think we shall explore a little bit of that. For that purpose we're gonna build a bunch of smaller ships. They will not be very pretty, but they will explain the functionality of the various weapon systems and just give you a better grasp of the whole system. In previous episodes I have mentioned a few possibilities how you can combine weapon systems, but maybe it's good to have all together in one episode, compacted, so people can also have a look at it, look it up, because after all there are so many possibilities that you can go for, much more than I could show, but I can help you understand what actually happens when you combine stuff with each other. So let's go ahead and dive right into that part of the video. Okay guys, to be able to explain you this in detail, I built myself a little ship which just contains some power, a thruster in order to get around, of course a snuggly ship core, and an attachment which I'm gonna attach stuff later on. So I've been checking on the Starmade wiki, which seems to be seriously outdated on the weapon system. At least when testing things out I didn't always get the results that were posted on the wiki or the update notes. However, we're gonna go systematically through all the weapons and the various combinations so that you can actually see the damage and destruction on this asteroid and, you know, just get a better grasp of the whole weapon system in Starmade. So let's start with the beam section. We're gonna attach one beam computer and we're gonna perform all the tests with 20 modules. So I'm gonna attach the 20 modules of my beam computer right there. And if we go ahead and have a look into the T menu, we can see the damage beam computer. I already put it to the hotbar slot number 1. So just in case you don't know what the beam does, it basically emits a beam, does 5 times 100 damage with 20 modules at least. Okay, so far so good. Now let's see how to manipulate this beam. We can of course make this beam stronger, which will result in a longer recharge rate by combining it with another beam computer. So I'm gonna set the beam computer right on top of here and we're gonna attach another 20 modules. I think in most cases it is best to attach the same amount of modules so you get the most balanced effect, but you can play around with the effects by having a higher ratio of one module contrary to the other. So now of course we have to go back into the T menu and we have to make the second beam computer be attached to the first one by adding it to the secondary slot. And it should go in here and you can see the amount of blocks that are attached to it. Also, if you go in the flight mode again, you can see in the hotbar that it is actually a subsystem. We have the damage beam computer plus a damage beam computer. And now if we shoot this thing, we do a lot more damage. We do 600 damage, but of course this also results in a longer recharge rate, as you can see down below. It takes much longer to recharge. Okay, now let's spice things a little bit up by combining it with a cannon computer. We're gonna attach the cannon computer right there with 20 cannon barrels. In our T menu we make sure that the cannon is the subsystem, and what we should end up with is with a lot less damage. As you can see, only 20, but also we have a much higher recharge rate. As you can see in the hotbar, we're just recharging like crazy and we can continuously do damage. Not sure if it is a coincidence that we have 20 modules and we're doing 20 damage. So maybe you could output one more damage per module. Don't take my word for that though. Right, the next system we need to test this with is the missile computer. We're gonna attach 20 missile modules as per usual, and we're gonna make sure that the missile computer is the subsystem. Now what this will do is actually create multiple beams instead of just one, so we're gonna have like a shotgun effect, as you can see. It also seems to be using up the power a little bit quicker. Okay, so this is how we get the shotgun effect, at least with the beams. And last but not least, we can combine it with a damage pulse computer. So we're gonna add that right here together with 20 modules. After making it the subsystem, we can test it out, and I'm not exactly sure what it does. So it seems as though we are using too much power, so I'm gonna reduce the effect of this module so that we can actually see what it is about. You can already see down below in the hotbar we have a really high cooldown rate. But in exchange it is supposed to do more damage, we shall see shortly. And we're ready to fire again, and yeah, it is about 700 damage instead of 100. Okay, so far so good. We have tested out all of the combinations with the beam computer, so we shall move on to the weapons computer. Okay, I took myself the liberty, I already installed the weapons computer together with the cannon barrels. My personal favorite weapon, of course, we all know it basically shoots at a certain interval. You can see there is a slight cooldown to it. And also we do about 100 damage with 20 modules. First up, of course, we're gonna combine it with another weapons computer together with 20 barrels, so the same amount. Want to make sure they are combined, and then we should end up with a rapid fire, of course with reduced damage. You can see only 20 damage contrary to the 100 we did before. But of course we're shooting about 5 times faster, so this kind of makes up for it. It really depends on what you want, guys. However, now that we know what that does, we are going to combine it with a damage beam computer. The damage beam subsystem will basically create a one shot with a recharge. You can see the shot is 800 damage instead of just 100. And it takes about 2 seconds to recharge now with 20 versus 20 modules. So I'm not sure if you want to go for that combination. The next one is much more interesting, namely the combination with the missile module. So we're gonna attach that, add it to the subsystem, and we're gonna shoot like a shotgun. There we go. My personal favorite combination. We are also of course losing slight damage. Each shot only does 40 damage, and of course you cannot be really accurate with it. It really depends on what you want, guys. However, there's one more combination we still have to explore, namely with the damage pulse computer. This is also a really nice combination that you can go for. Damage pulse, there we go. This will basically create one huge shot with also a huge recharge. But look at that, contrary to the 100 damage we did in the beginning, we can now do 3200. Holy bejeez. But of course you have to consider the cooldown, so it really depends on what you want to achieve. But there you have it, these were the combinations you could go for using the cannon barrel as the main computer system. Now we shall move on to the missiles and check out what combination does what there. Okay guys, I installed myself a missile computer with the usual 20 modules, and I believe every one of you can imagine what that does. It will basically create a missile that does, well, 1500 damage with 20 modules. It will have a slight recharge rate, or actually a pretty long one. It seems to be about 10 seconds or even more. And it will only create a missile that goes straight. It will not follow any target or anything like that. However, we do have the possibility to combine the systems, of course. So let's combine it with itself first. We're gonna attach another missile computer with 20 modules, and we're gonna connect that up. And if we shoot now, you will observe something strange is happening. Namely, we do have the shotgun effect. We are shooting multiple missiles and they seem to be following a target. And I sincerely hope they cannot actually reach my mothership, because they seem to be going for the mothership. However, you can create shotgun-like heat-seeking missiles, combining 2 missile computers together. Of course at the cost of a little bit reduced damage, I assume. Okay, now the next thing is something I cannot actually show you, because I currently do not have a pirate target, but if you combined the missile computer together with a beam computer, then you would have the ability to lock onto a target. So contrary to the heat-seeking missiles, you will be able to decide which target to go for, combining the missile computer with the beam computer. So I'm sorry that I'm not gonna show this off, but I really don't feel like looking for a pirate right now with my current ship. However, there are more combinations. We can of course combine it with a cannon's computer, so let's do that. There we go, they are combined. What will this do? We will still shoot a missile which is just going straight, but contrary to before, we have a much lower recharge rate. And additionally, we are also doing less damage. Contrary to 1500, we are now only doing 800. Also, the blast radius is reduced. So it depends again on what you want. Do you want some rapid, weak missiles, or do you want missiles that have a huge impact but also have a huge recharge rate? And this leads me to the pulse computer combination. So we're gonna take this apart and we're gonna go for the final combination, the pulse computer as a subsystem, of course also with 20 modules. Just so you guys have a little bit of a reference, of course you can do this with 1000 modules as well. Oh, there's the mothership. However, we have those two systems combined, and this will basically do the opposite as the combination with the cannon computer. So the cannon computer made everything a little bit weaker but more efficient, and the pulse computer will make everything insanely strong, and by insanely I mean insanely. Okay, there we go, I managed to hook them up properly, so let's see the impact of this shot, and oh yes. That is something very much different. Still the same amount of modules, but just with a different combination as a subsystem. Right, so that would do it for the missile computer. The only thing that is left to check out as a main system is the damage pulse computer, so let's do that. Again, I already placed the pulse computer together with 20 modules. I placed them a little bit off so that we can observe the effect easier and better. So what does a pulse computer do? If we go in here and we choose it in the hotbar, we will be able to create some kind of a outgoing bubble force field such as this. Now let's check out how much damage that actually does. We of course also have a recharge on that, but we can see that we are doing, I don't know how much damage. It didn't really seem to show a number, but that could be some kind of a defensive mechanism. I really like it. Also nicely done with the visuals actually. Yeah, we're not here for fun, we are here for weapons combinations, so we shall do that. As per usual, we're gonna combine it with itself first and check out what that does. So right off the bat we might not be able to see a difference. Let's just check it out. Yeah, there we go. Oh man, that did actually a lot more. Holy cow, we were able to take out a huge chunk of this guy, but also we do have a much higher recharge rate. So everything comes at a cost, guys. Okay, so far so good. Let's go to the next combination. We not only want to make it stronger, we also want to make it bigger, and for that we have to use the damage beam computer as a subsystem. So we're gonna attach 20 modules of that and combine them together. So the damage pulse computer is the main system and the beam computer the subsystem, and this is supposedly gonna change or increase the radius, and oh yeah, it did indeed increase the radius. So that is good to know that this still works. Next up we have the cannon computer. The cannon computer will do something similar as before with the missiles. It will make the beam much less strong, also use less power and have less recharge. So you can see we have a really high recharge rate on that, but we are not merely doing the damage as we did before. So it really depends what you want to go for, guys. However, we can of course also do the very opposite using the missile computer. We're gonna attach that together with 20 missile modules, and oh geez, I messed that up. There we go, that's what I wanted. Want to combine those two together, and what effect do we have now? We shall see. We're gonna go in here in the center and we're gonna blast off, and hopefully that did something. Let's try this again. Well, at least in the description it says that it will increase the damage and also the recharge. You can see we have a recharge of slightly more than 1 second, so that is of course a lot better than it was before. Oh yeah, guys. Okay, that is great. We went through all the different combinations and explored what they actually do, so you might be able to consider which effect you want to go for. But there's actually more, guys. There is much more. If we get close to a shop and have a quick look inside of it, we will be able to have a look into the Generals tab and the effects. And you can see there are various specifics that will apply once you add them to, I believe, the third slot, so the tertiary slot. Oh man, I just know that that was wrong. And you will have to do it the same way. So for instance, I would go for a piercing effect computer in order for my beams and projectile to increase their damage done to blocks at the cost of reduced shield damage. So they will do less damage when they have shields, but they will do more damage when they have none. And also here we would have to buy 20 modules, attach them if we want to have an efficient effect going on, a really good ratio of blocks. We also have the explosive effects computer, one of my favorites of course. So you could make your shots, your cannon shots, explosives additionally to all the various effects that you can get from combining the main systems. You can also add these various effects. We have the EMP effect, which will forward the damage the weapon does to the power system of the target, which could be useful in specific situations. We have the punch through effect, which gives you a higher chance to actually do damage to blocks in the same line, so you can more efficiently damage thick hulls and just literally punch through them. And you have much more, such as the stop effect, the push effect, pull effect, all of that good stuff. I explained those in previous update videos, but basically I recommend you to read those descriptions. They are mostly pretty clear on what they do. However, there's one more thing to note, that you don't necessarily have to combine those with your weapon systems. For instance, the stop effect computer can actually give your ship anti-gravity if you do not combine it with a weapon system. And of course that is good if you don't want your ships to fall down to your planets all the time. You should actually go for anti-gravity. But yeah, you can see Starmade has come a long way since I made the last video about weapon systems, and with the increasing amount of questions about this topic on my videos, because of course in the earlier episodes I gave information which isn't necessarily valid anymore, I thought it is about time to give you a brief update. Also, I will put a link down in the description so you can have a look at the table yourself. Not all of the data is 100% true in my opinion, at least when testing a few things out, that's what I figured. But you know, more or less it can give you a guideline so you don't have to memorize all of the various effects, but I hope this could give you a brief overview at least. Well guys, so I think all in all this is a pretty solid idea for a weapon system, that you can combine it in the way and ratio that you want. So if you want an effect to have, you know, less impact on your systems, then just have less modules. But if you don't really know what you're doing, in most cases it is best just to go with a 1-to-1 ratio. So if you have 100 modules of something, then try to attach 100 modules first and see what that does before you change around too much. Anyways guys, I think we are gonna wrap it up at this point. We shall continue the next time actually on the mothership. I'm definitely in the mood to build a little bit more on the mothership. I think it is about time to attach some more stuff to it. I have a few immediate ideas that we can go for, but other than that, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for supporting this episode as per usual. I hope you enjoyed it and you could learn something, fresh up your memories about the weapon systems. But other than that, have a great time and hopefully I'm gonna catch you the next time.